love's like a battery charging my heart right now. And oh, you left all the things you had, but not just found. And I know you had to go, but left me not to know. Like a snake's tongue is stung, but I had to show.
Hi everyone, good to see you all. Very brief introduction from me today. Welcome to Garry Taylor's episode of the Hoofball podcast. Just need to make you aware, we did run into some technical difficulties towards the end of this episode, so don't feel offended if you are waiting to hear about Gary's departure from Pontardawe as manager, or his brief time at Llanelli. He did talk about it, unfortunately we just didn't manage to keep that content, but everything else that we discussed in a great conversations there, and that also explains why it's light in the background and then all of a sudden it goes straight to dark, is because we lost a little bit of content and had to just revisit. But thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, and yeah, enjoy the episode. Thanks everyone.
So the first time I encountered you, and I had this in a flashback about 10 years ago, right? So, Neath playing on, what's it called? It was at Pontardawe, wasn't it? Lovely ground.
Yeah.
Beautiful pitch.
And it's a Cwmamman player, no?
Beautiful pitch, yeah. And I'm managing Taswell in the old Goytre Youth League, and you're playing for Neath.
Yeah.
And one of your players, right, me and him were back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, right, for about an hour.
Yeah. And
the referee's like, pack it in, pack it in, pack it in. And I can't remember the lad's name, right? He wasn't a bad player. And I always remember I said something to him, right? And he looked up in the stand and he went, Dad, he's having a go at me. I was just like, I thought, I've won here, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, Dad, there was, I can't remember the referee that night, but there was a few red cards, right? And as you say, you weren't involved in the fight, right? No. So anyway, shock back then. I've got sent off.
Yeah.
So the changing rooms are right at the top, right? So we're right at the top, and obviously the melee's happened, and I've made sure our players have come away. And I've looked at you, and I've gone, he sent you off, knowing you'd had nothing to do with it, right? And you looked at me, and you went, you're going to try and talk to me? Fuck off! I'm talking to you, fucking hell! I'm looking at you going, fair enough. So then I refereed this trial. 6 months later or something, I think that phase of it was. I remember looking at you thinking, is he going to remember who I am now? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But then, it was a while after that then, wasn't it? But like, you've had a bit of a kicking off a few people, gentle ribbing.
Yeah.
So only fair that we get you on, isn't it? So why don't we get it out the way? What is this trust the process stuff all about then? Where did you come from?
I've obviously been racking my brain about it. I don't know whether there could be two sources. So there could be one where, because I'm an Arsenal fan, and it's the whole Mikel Arteta and everyone's like support him, trust the process and things like that. So whether I've tweeted something about that in the past, I don't know. But then there was, I'm not going to mention names, but there was an old reserve team manager that when I was at Pontawe, he had to remove and say, look, you know, it's best you move on and things, and went to a different club. So whether he was in when I'd taken over and maybe I've said something and he's then, I don't know, because we were training out here, it was last Tuesday actually, we were training out here. And I was speaking to Couchy, the goalkeeper coach with Lido, and Couchy's a great bloke. And I was speaking to Couchy, and I said, next Thursday I'm recording and stuff. And he said, if they'll probably call it the Trust the Process episode. And Couchy said to me, he said, where's that come from? And I said, Couchy, I don't know. And he said, because I've never heard you say that. So I don't know. Like I said, when I took over Pontawe first from Stokesy, like we'll come into that a bit later on, but we went through a period, I think we lost about 4 or 5 games, and I must have said, we were playing well, we were close, but we we were inexperienced, we were getting edged out, and I might have said, boys, just keep doing what you're doing, trust the process and what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And then that's been taken out of context, because I don't
Why
say
do you
it.
get a shit for it though? Because I've seen more than one manager tweet those words in their Saturday night summing up of what's happened that day. So it's not like you're the only person that's ever said it.
The shit comes from Twitter, and to be honest, I have thought of coming off Twitter. Twitter's such a negative place, isn't it? And I realise then the shit you're getting on Twitter is from no real credibility.
That's right, yeah.
So it's from a couple of parody accounts. Yeah. So then when you think of it, and then when you look at the class, like when we lost the 3-0 win, the parody account that sent the question in, which obviously we'll answer later. Yeah. And then when we went 4-0 against 3-0 win, which I said was a bad result, under that he's put bye-bye Garry Taylor. I think fucking third game of the season, mate. And I'm thinking, when you actually then, you do obviously look at it, and it makes you think how these pro managers do it and how they avoid, because it does fucking get you, like, and it's easy to easier to say rise above it, but when you see in it, you're like,
Stan's reference as well on his, didn't he, that talking about the whole thing about the parody account.
Yeah.
You know, if it's somebody directly you know they are, they have a go at you, you can sort of take it in terms of who they are, what they've done in football.
Yeah.
But when it's somebody who's just a made up,
and I know,
just trying to goad you. That's what it is, goading.
Yeah, and there's only 3 accounts, and then like I said, when you put on there, when you actually click on it, no one's liked it, or one person has liked it. So you're thinking, well, that probably, if people felt like that, you'd have 50 people jump all over it. So when you actually break it down, and like I was speaking to Lee John about it in the week, because he said, a few people mentioned, what was your interview about, like where? And I said, it's probably more aimed at those parody accounts, but it's pathetic. Like, if I lost and you come on and say, Gareth's really bad, like, at least you're putting a face to the name, and you can go, fair, because what you learn in football is you're not going to please everyone. You know, there's going to be different opinions, and you look at, like, Man U and Liverpool, most people hate Man U, but they love Liverpool and vice versa, because they've been successful. Like, you're never going to please everyone, you're always going to have people dig you out, but, like I said, I haven't seen anyone with real credibility dig me out where I've gone, do you know what, I value his opinion. Yeah, maybe we're doing this wrong, we should do. It's generally from accounts that people don't. If they had something about them, they'd come out and say, oh yeah, it's me, Roger, something from,
exactly.
you know.
I've actually had it twice.
Yeah.
So there was, do you remember on the old message board days, we had Vogdog that claimed to be a Barry Town fan but wasn't.
Yeah.
I know exactly who it was. It was another team in our league at that time. I see him now from time to time, and he doesn't know that I sussed it out. Do you know what I mean? And he's nice as pie, and I'm like,
And
do you remember the Welsh League Hammer you would have been playing?
Yeah,
I know exactly who that little rat was. And I remember one day he'd been getting right into me, and he was in the stand watching us against Riska, thinking we'd lose, and we won. And when we scored the third goal, my celebration. It's like we'd won the World Cup.
I can imagine who that was, and you don't want to talk it up too much, because he'll probably come back out the woodwork.
When we were in the league with Aberfan, who was the guy at Aberfan?
Oh yeah, but
that was just Aberfan related.
His name, Squidgy. But that was his nickname. It wasn't like Die the Dap. Squidgy was his nickname in the area, and he used to go and watch games and stuff.
Because you got like Ian Parfitt, obviously. He'll love it that we mentioned him.
No, but super fan.
But his name's there. So if he's critical, then fair enough to him. He can have his opinion. His name's there. And like Ian is a nice bloke. When you get to know him, he's a nice guy. And but if they put opinions on, at least they say they're standing there. They're big enough to give it, and like, because he's always back and forward clamping it. But it's like I said, when you have parody accounts, you're thinking, come on, mate, just be better. Like, if you feel that, just own it, say who you are, because they're probably, you bump into them and they'll be nice as pie to your face, and I'd love to, and I have a feeling who a few of them are.
I don't think the Hammer would be nice to my face, but...
But I'll tell you off camera who I think that is, and you probably, so, But no, so in regards to them, and like we discussed beforehand about, guy you mentioned on there, on the podcast a lot, and it's like I said, Ben was complimentary, Dean was because me and Dean had a bit of banter, and like I said, I texted him straight away about Porth, and we speak from time to time, so that was light-hearted, as I said, Stanton is... do you know, it's weird with Stanton, so it would be bad not to give a mention, but we haven't actually... I can't remember having a fallout with him. I just avoid him. I just stay away with... So, like, some of the stuff he said was partially true, but exaggerations of the truth. So that story he's talking about at Pontardawe, it was the first league game of the season, done everything but score. And what gripes me is you say to the ref, whenever you play Baglan or whenever any team plays Baglan, they know Stance is going to time waste.
Yeah.
So straight away, you're walking out to the ref and you're going, ref, we all know what he's going to do. Earlier you get the card out, the better. But then some refs allow it to happen. Yeah. And yeah, like I said, I did zing the ball on, and he did.
He said it was good technique.
Yeah, so it must have been. No, so he zinged it, and to be fair, he's smashed it right, and it's gone. But it was our club secretary, Garry Thomas, that's gone mad at him because it was a match ball, 50 quid or whatever, and he's gone. So it weren't me that was going mad at him. And it was the same when we played with Baglan, and we had to win. When I was at Ponty, we had to win then. It came down to goal difference with Cwmamman Major. Yeah. So we went there knowing we needed I think it was a 3 or 4 goal swing. So we weren't done and dusted. And like I said, played really well, winning. They had a penalty corner last minute, and he said I was screaming at him. They weren't. I can't remember him going up. So I don't have any. I've never had. I don't think I really played against him, so I can't seem to remember him because I didn't play against Tartar much, and think we must have been different levels at different times. So I've never had a course to really fall out with him. It's just I see his antics and I don't buy into it, and I just don't get involved. And actually, when we played Baglan last game with Lido last year, we drew 1-1, I believe it was. They scored the 96th minute, which was gut-wrenching. You didn't hear Stanton all game. Apart from he was asking Carl to sub him because he had an argument with Carl. And he was like, "Take me off," and so we didn't actually hear from him. And then the 96th minute they scored, he's giving it the big. And I'm like, "Fucking hell, where have we been since kick-off?" So, but like, and then do you know what was funny, right? So your episode went out with Stance, and I watched it. Yeah. And me and him, we don't shake hands after. We just avoid each other. Nothing bad. We don't that was it. Yeah. So I'm driving to training and I just listen to his podcast. He's walking down the beach and it's one of them. We both look at each other. None of us we just looked at each other and like a little tilt of the head as if like a little bit of acknowledgement that I expected him to be worse. But yeah, I just, like I said, I don't, nothing bad. I just avoid him because I know what he's going to be like.
I think he's been given a little warning.
Yeah.
Beforehand, like about don't go over the top.
No, and I speak to Carl, the Baglan manager, great bloke, and I'd rather him. And you know what? Stanton's one of the better goalkeepers about. He's very, he's a good goalkeeper, but his antics doesn't please. But like I said, it's a bit like Michael Jordan talks about on his The Last Dance, innit? He prefers the people who give it from minute one. Stanton only gives it when they're winning, or and that's the difference. Be there from minute one. So it's.
To be fair, whenever I played against him, he pissed me off for 90 minutes consistently.
but when it was literally when I seen the name Stanton dropped on your podcast, I went like that. Oh, fuck, here we go. And then you would message me, didn't you, that he'd said, I was expecting, fuck, here we go, trust the pool, blah, blah, blah.
The funny thing about that, before we chatted to Richie over the road there, was he said loads of people are going like, I can't wait to hear Stanton and all that. But another load of people are going like, why are you giving him a platform? He
but no, to be fair,
it was really good.
Yeah, his podcast was really good, and like you said, I got off lightly considering what I thought he was going to be like, and I like to think he's got off lightly, but when unfortunately he plays for a rival, doesn't he? So it's going to be that tension when Afan Lido played Baglan. It was a big game.
Sort of Port Talbot, Neath Port Talbot sort of area, isn't it? It's all those clubs and. Avon coming up next door, you were showing me earlier on.
And like you said, ultimately he is a good goalkeeper.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of lost track of you for a while myself after that youth college stuff. So what was early days of senior football?
Senior football was at Neath.
Okay.
It was Neath AFC then, so where we played youth football. And then Cwmamman and Neath merged. Yeah. And there was a couple of us that were kind of, I was a year younger than some of my best mates who were like coming to the end of youth and reserves. So I had another year youth where Di Evans had come in. He was good. So it was at youth. going in and out with the first team training and stuff. And then when it was out of youth, it was training just with the first team and pushing. And do you remember boy Matty Rees?
Yeah.
Very good player. Lee Bevan. There was us three. There was Andrew Stokes and Stokesy, my best mate, and Shawsey, quite close to it. And then we was offered a contract with the first team, with Neath, me, Matty and Bevs, and doing well pre-season, was playing, and they had a hell of a team. They had, obviously, Hillo then was up front.
It became incredible.
That was the year. They had Carl Shaw, later become my assistant.
So are we talking the Welsh League Championship year where they amassed a huge number of points?
Yeah, and I always remember Simon Dyer, and later on I went to coach Simon Dyer's boy. And again, great. I speak to Simon for time, a great bloke. And I always remember we trained over the road from Llandarcy. They were the training pitches where the Swans used them for a while. So I remember Andy Dyer sitting us down after training, and Simon Dyer, and they fucking wrecked us, like. And they were like, "What do you want out this season?" I was like, "Oh, hopefully to make some appearances, be on the squad." And they were like, "No, that's not the attitude. You should want to win the league." I'm thinking, fucking hell, I would kick the men's football type of thing. But that was the standards that, to be fair, they set. They had good players. Johnny Keaveney was there. Like I said, Pocket in his prime was superb. Hillo up front, you know. So they were bringing names in all the time. Liam Hancock in the back. So
we've mentioned a few that were good at winding people up and stuff on the series so far. But like I think you just mentioned one there, Pocket could get.
Yeah, he was a big physical player, and they were probably obviously Andy O'Macron, and I always remember Pocket and Hillo had the choice of long sleeve and short sleeve shirts. They had their own squad number 10 and 7. So everyone else had long sleeve or short. So they had two. They were the golden boy, and rightly so. They were quality. But yeah, it was great to be around those players, and Johnny Keaveney, and I always remember we were training with Neath in the pre-season, and we've done the bleep test, and fucking gunned it now, got to about level, kind of 11.5 or 12, whatever, dropped out. Keaveney had dropped out at about level 10, and so when he's come over and sat by me, and you just talk about experience now, and he said, "Why have you done that?" I was like, "Trying to impress, I want to play in the first team." He goes, "Yeah, but the problem is now, in 6 weeks' time, you've got to beat that. So you've got to be 6 weeks fitter." Whereas he's like, "I dropped out at level 10. I know I can beat that now." So naturally his score's going to get... but JK was always going to be a starter, whereas I fucking, you know, you have to push and work, and it was just those little things.
I had Leighton Maxwell at Aberham and Aberdeen.
Yeah, what a player.
Obviously class, like. But coming towards the end of his competitive playing days, and we used to train on Astro. Yeah. And he'd come training, and... you know, when we're doing like maybe a bit of work or a drill or this and that, you'd be like, "Oh, me knee," and all that. And then you go into like, you progress it to a small-sided game that might go on for like 25 minutes or something. Isn't he all right for that? Yeah. He'd be like, "Oh, I've just done a bit of work on it over there. It's all right now."
It was funny.
Like, "Oh, it's funny now. You did that last week as well."
Me and Liam McCreesh in the bar after training, we were talking to Mac, and Max's name come up because what a player. And I remember playing against him more at Cardiff Corries. You went there for a bit.
He did,
took him there for a bit. And,
He went in the Drax as well, didn't he?
He was later on. Because he's good mate to Willow, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. So I remember he went. He went there. So Neath, and then Neath used to play the Swans, and it was kind of like. You always felt if you started that game, you had a chance of being in the league team. And funny enough, Neath's first game was Afan Lido out here. And I'll come on. So we played the Swans. Zaki Mitzbar was at Neath as well. He'd just come from somewhere. He was up front. He started that game. And I remember it because we wore the skewing kit. We wore like the burgundy, like you jumping type of colour, the kit. And Dyers used to play a formation. There was a back four, 3 midfielders. Johnny Keaveney used to play wide right, a bit like that Dean Morris formation, a wide right striker and 2 centre forwards. So I played, it was pockets, I think Ryan Frankham, remember Ryan Frankham?
Yes, I do,
centre midfield, and I think I played like left of the midfield 3. Well, they were, Joe Allen played right wing, they played a 4-4-2, Kenny Jackett took the team, they had Nicky Holland, I don't know if you remember Nicky Holland, he's coach out in Dubai now, like personal trainer. Joe Allen played right wing, and the only reason I remember, he wore these blue and white Preds, and that's all I seen was so they were switching the ball all the time.
So you're playing left of
a central 3, and against Swans 4-4-2.
And Swansea are 4-4-2, and Joe Allen is the
right winger, right? So game over, guy. So what was happening? They were just switching the ball all the time out to the right winger. Who's the idiot then that's got to jump out? Me. Pox ain't going out there, is he? No. Like they got too much experience. It's me going out. Fucking hell, Pop does. Shepherd's up at half time, so you're thinking, that's done now. And then we trained at Llandarcy then, and to be fair, because Dyer's owned Macron, they had all the bags of kit and that. Yeah. And I remember we met upstairs in Llandarcy in the cafe bit now. Yeah. And Dyer's is up front doing his talk about the game, and this was like a Thursday, and they had Lido here on the Friday night talking, and Simon's at the back. And he's just making notes. I didn't realise this at the time. So you sat there, and I'm just happy to be around these players and everything like that. And it was brilliant. And then we come to the Friday. Dyer's posed me. He said, "Look, mate, you haven't made the squad." So gutted, but a free tracksuit, so you didn't win too bad. Gutted. I just thought, right, hopefully the League Cup game in the week. I thought maybe I'll have a start there. He left me out. He bought Dowrier in that week, see.
So you're still making signings?
Yeah, so Dai commit. I think maybe after that game he thought maybe didn't fancy me, lack of experience, whatever, I don't know. Maybe I jumped the gun a little bit too much, I don't know. But so we bought Dai Dowrier and Dai Dowrier played. Carl Shaw actually, I think, scored out there. It was 1-0. And then, it didn't make the next squad. Then I was on the bench. It just come to a point, I was like, I want to play football. And
Is it that thing as well that we talk about with a lot of youth players nowadays? You've obviously been a starter and a main player for your junior team, your youth team, your college team, representative teams you get into and all of that. And now you hit senior football and you're struggling to even get a bench. Was that a bit of a culture shock?
Yeah, it was. It is. But then I think it comes down to that desire to want to play. Yeah. And for whatever reason, whatever level, even in the pro game or this game, no one's ever got reserve football right, have they? No. So, like, when you look, the reserve football in the pros doesn't exist anymore, so 21s. Reserve level of Welsh League ain't really, it's never, so for some reason, so I remember when we were youth, back then you could play the two clubs, and funny, I was speaking to someone about this the other day, is that I'm heavily involved in football all the way through, from grassroots right to Welsh League, and it's like, I agree with the one club rule from a youngster's point of view, from 10s, 11s, to stop the 13-0s, the humiliating, blah, blah, blah. So I get all that, right? But then I think we've got a little problem when we get to 16 to 21. I think there's a problem where we need to possibly introduce the second club, where I think boys still need that youth and age grade football, but they need that introduction of men's football that reserve football doesn't do for some reason. So whether it's like, I remember when we were youth football, Goytre was a Sunday or midweek. But
they like the Monday.
And a Monday. Yeah. But if we didn't make the first team, or maybe the reserves back end, because the reserves had loads of players back end, or the reserves was a pub team that was filling in So we would go and play for a Swansea League team. So we were getting our men's football, but we were still training with Neath and still playing. And I feel like sometimes, like, we haven't got an academy here, but like, say, Britain Ferry now, for instance, you might have a very good 16-year-old that's playing. He still needs to train with Britain Ferry 16s, 17s, 18s, whatever, play youth grade football on a Sunday. But then maybe if he goes and plays like in the West South Wales Alliance or like a Pontardawe and plays that on a Saturday, that's going to accelerate his learning and his...
A few clubs, but when we were at Llanrumney especially, so starting off in tier 6, or tier 7 as it was then, like we had Keaton Lammy from Taftswell youth. Yeah. So, he was playing youth football on a Sunday, but he was getting exposure and playing with people like Chris Galton, Dom Dwyer, Sam Hartree, these people that already had the Welsh League experience, and he was able to do it. But I have been on the other side of that coin. Yeah. So when I was managing Taftswell youth team, it became a problem. So we were signing the best players to compete in the Goytre. And some of them, so if they're playing for Treforest, who are Alliance League, no problem. But the problem was some of these lads were developing, and we had like Kaid Mohammed, who's playing for Ely Rangers first team, and he's playing for our youth to play in the Goytre. And it becomes a problem then for Taftswell because they're saying, well, hang on,
he should be
the
playing for our
first team
first
manager should be able to come and watch the youth team and say he's good, I'll have him. But he's playing for Ely Rangers first.
But he could still do that, no?
But he did. That's the point. Kai didn't want to move over to Taftswell. He was very happy at Ely Rangers. So it's that system thing, and the other thing is the thing that finished me at Taftswell with the youth was Dan Hooper. Obviously, Dan Hooper was playing for me and the first team. Manager changed. Nicky Tucker left. In came Mark Evans. Mark Evans didn't fancy him because Dan's a footballer.
Yeah.
And Mark liked more physical players, shall we say. Dan Hooper is now out of the first team. Well, he's a Welsh League player and has been for a year.
Yeah.
So he moves to Bryn Tillion.
Yeah.
And now Taftswell is saying, well, we don't want him in our youth team if he's gone to Bryn Tillion.
Yeah.
So it just gets difficult to
it
manage.
It is, I think
I'd be happy here if you had control of it. So if you controlled it, and if there was a you in every club, you'd go, right, John, we want you to go and play at Port Albert. Yeah. Because you're good, you're nearly in the first team squad. I know Richie, he's looking for a left back, get in, if you managed it. But if it's just wide open, and these kids can play for the youth and go and play wherever they want. Yeah. Sometimes, and Treforest had it, they had a very good McGuirter team. Do you remember the one?
Yeah, I remember playing
in your age. They were not great, and then we had people like Grant Thompson went in there, Mark Sampson was manager. Samuel, and they were outstanding. They were one of the best teams in the league, and the Treforest first team was bottom of the old senior league. And the manager's turning up going, 5 of these should be in my firsts. Yeah. And no, I play for this and I play for that and I play for that on a Saturday.
It is tricky.
So it's hard. Like.
Yeah. Do you then put something in that you can only play below a standard? Yeah. I don't think,
potentially lose the player.
Yeah. There's no perfect answer, is it? But I do maybe think there's slight tweaks needed. But funny enough, the only time I played at Treforest, it must have been their McGuirter team. Yeah. I was taking a corner and the tree roots. So I was trying to put the ball down, and the ball was rolling over the roots and rolling off. So I don't know if what it's like up there now.
I was telling you earlier, I lost the cup final here with Taftswell. I lost one up there as well.
Yeah.
Always the bridesmaid that,
but yeah, going back to so from Neath then I ended up brilliant. I went to Morriston Town. Because I live in Anastawi, Morriston's only over the road, the Dingle. And they were Division 2, I believe, at the time. And Mike Ellery. Yeah. Fucking hell, Mike Ellery signed me. Great guy, still in touch with him now. Brilliant bloke. Mike signed, so he said, come training. Went training, trained. Done okay, I must have done all right. They wanted to offer me something. So he goes, right, we haven't got a game Saturday. But we got a social. Will you come down the club, get everything signed? Brilliant. Yeah, no worries, mate, no worries. Come down the club. Met. Yeah. Sign this. Signed. Everything. Brilliant. Club took it off. Half hour later, Mike gets all the players in and said, guys, I just resigned. Pissed off with the club. Something had gone on. He'd stepped down.
Something had gone on that day?
No, I think he was stepping down beforehand. So I know. So I had signed. He left. And then I was like, I was signing for Morriston Town, like not Mike. I got on great with Mike, but I committed to Morriston. So I ended up staying, even though Mike went. And I was like, we always joke about it now because they go out every year for the FA Cup, which I usually. But the last couple of years we've played on the day, so I haven't been able to make it. Like, it's a great laugh. But yeah, Mike signed me, and like an hour later resigned. So that we always wind each other up about that. And then so I spent a bit of time at Morriston.
What was it like there at the time? Because there was a generation around that time where they were known as a bit of the crazy gang, a little bit.
Do you know?
Was it around that time?
Yeah, and we talk about it now. Like me and Stokesy touch upon it quite a lot. I was quite fortunate that I've kind of been quite across a few generations of football. So whereas now you're lucky if you can train once a week with numbers and stuff like that. Going back then, when I first started, you knew you had to train twice a week. You knew Monday or Tuesday, whichever day you trained, was a running session, and you were going to run. You weren't going to see the ball. Then you knew the Wednesday or the Thursday session was going to be 5-a-side. It was going to be ball work. But after training, you showered and you changed, and you went in and you had a drink and you stayed in the park. Not 10, like some would still have a pint of squash and drive, but you had that. You had 2 sessions, training, good numbers, running, football, and stay together. Whereas that's changed, rightly or wrongly now, but that has changed. A lot of teams now don't train at their ground, so they hire 3G venues that don't have anything. So you arrive and you train, you go. So it has changed. But I had that. It was a really good club, Morriston. It was a bit of in free fall the time I went there, and players. Mike then left, and a lot of players left, and it was like. But then there was a lot of great people there. There was a lot of good players there. Jonathan Coach was there. Ex-Swans. Leighton Connolly still plays. Really good people at the club. Kev Lewis was there. Paul Lewis from Baglan then come in. So, but it was brilliant for me because I think one of the problems now is that persona of an 18, 19-year-old. No, I play Cymru South. I say, how many Cymru South games have you played? Like, whereas, you kind of back yourself. I knew that I'd get to where I needed to get to, but I just needed to play. So I weren't looking at it as if I'm dropping down a level. I was looking at it.
That attitude that Kevin Davis said to us of he's obviously in his first managerial role now, and he said that he couldn't get his head round. He's talking to lads that haven't even played like 40 games in the Ardal League, and they're asking for 50 quid a game. And he said, look, drop down, get 40 games. He said then, if you've got a reputation, go and do it.
But is it now more the social media side of it, the Instagrams, the different stuff? Is that? Probably. Do you want to be seen playing that, or do you want to play? Is it minutes over what standard you play? So, so I ended up going there, stayed there for a bit, and then they'd all gone to Cwmamman, Mike, Ellery, and lots of the Morriston boys who I got over. So I ended up going to Cwmamman for a bit. They were Division 3 then, but they were quite paying well. They were trying to get out the leagues.
They were on the climb.
So I went there. Was really, again, brilliant time travelling with a group of boys from Morriston who we're still in touch with now. We've gone straight over the mountain. It was brilliant, really good time. And then Mike left at the end of that season. He packed in football, retired, and a couple of my mates had gone to Clan Sowell, who are now Britain Ferry. They merged, so they went to Clan Sowell, and I was I'd met with the new Cwmamman manager. He promised me a good deal, blah, blah, blah. But I just, when I was going down with the boy, I didn't fancy travelling down there. It didn't really, I weren't convinced on it.
It was always, that one always felt, especially when you're from the area that you're from, with so many clubs around you, it always felt like a club that had a bit of a glass ceiling to it. Yeah. And even if it got up to a certain level, it wouldn't. Well,
they reached up to Division 1, didn't they? And Alan, the guy there, Alan Rees, is a brilliant guy. Brilliant guy.
Yeah, I always looked after him as well when we visited.
Cwmamman. He's still there now. Is he? So, Alan's still there now. And I dealt with him in business as well. But really good bloke. Great club, Cwmamman. Yeah. But I was car shit. I wouldn't be driving down there on my own and stuff. So, but yeah, enjoyed my time there. And then, like I said, a couple of the old boys from our Neath youth team were at Clan Sowell. So I went training with them. But then my best mate Stokesy was at Pontardawe. He went to Ponty, so he was at Neath with us. And then when he weren't playing, he went to Pontardawe at that time and was lucky enough he went straight into Division 1. Whereas, like I said, I'm a year younger. Yeah. I dropped down. Probably weren't ready for it then, Division 1. So
pretty physical back then.
Pretty physical back then, yeah.
And in that era, you're still talking about probably the majority of the First Division playing with wing backs.
Yeah, or
wing backs or 4-4-2s.
4-4-2, yeah.
And if you're a midfielder in a 4-4-2 against the wing backs, you're the sacrificial lamb, aren't you?
But also, it weren't 4-4-2, like it was. You had to do both roles. Yeah, so it weren't like these days a 4 and a 10 and an 8 doing it. It was like, no, if one goes one stage, if you go, I stay. It was like
a cam and a DCM in it.
Yeah, a cam. Yeah. So I ended up. I was training with Clan Sowell, and they weren't. They're an agent squad. Great guy, and we went there because the old Neath reserve manager, Barry Colwell, who's Richard Colwell's, both boys are in Cardiff first team. Yeah. And I still speak to Rich. And Joel Colwell used to come training with us at Ponty. Used to get 2 trains home from Cardiff, and
Did he?
Oh, he's special player. So Ruben, I used to run a football business in Swansea. Richard Colwell used to run a personalised session for Ruben, Joel, Gabe Kirkhoff, who's at Penabont now, Joe Lloyd. There's a good group of them, so they used to train. And because we got on well with Richard Stokesy was the manager at Ponty at the time, and Richard would say, look, can Joel come training with you? He wants men's training. He was YTS with Cardiff then. He used to catch 2 trains home.
Did he?
To come training with us.
Every time?
Every time, on Wednesdays, majority of Wednesdays. And fuck me. It was good. And it, funny, again, we were speaking about Tuesday, that it was one of them where Joel would turn up in training, so some of the boys didn't know who he was. Now, obviously, me and Stokesy knew we'd agreed it. So when we were doing like a wave practice, and I'd come out with Joel, if he was with some other boys, you know what it's like when you train with young, you sometimes don't want to pass him a ball, do you? You're not worried it might not come back. So Joel had been with a few people, no one was giving the ball, and so when I was with Joel, I was just feeding the ball, and he fucking drifted bang, and then people are like, Jesus Christ, who's this? And you could just tell, fuck, he's going to go further than Cardiff. He's
playing well when he's coming. I've gone down with my boy to watch quite a few games this season, and I watched on the telly, and
But he's always played with older kids.
Yeah.
So like Ruben's older than him, and Ruben's good as well. I think he's been a lot of change in Cardiff since he's broke in. He's played under about 8 or 9 managers, but I think this manager, a bit of responsibility. He does things, when you watch him up close and personal, unbelievable technique off both feet, and I think with a bit of love and trust, he'll flourish under that and reach where he needs to be. But Joel, wouldn't mind betting that he's going to go.
Pontardawe is probably that's where I start encountering you again. I think in terms of, because it's before the Comet app and stuff like that, and so you've how long were you there first stint?
I got a good memory, but I'm not great on the years. So I think Pricey signed me. So like I said, I went Clontarf training, and Stokesy rang me and he said, "Oh, Pricey's interested in you." So Pricey rang me, and Steve Price, you obviously know, and Steve Price, a salesman, unbelievable. He'd phone you tomorrow, and you'd want to go and unbelievable sales. So I remember saying to Steve, "Look, I haven't signed a Clontarf, but I'm enjoying it training." He said, and as it goes, we were training at Pontardawe Leisure with Clontarf that morning, and Ponty were training after. Right. So I said, "Look, I'll train Clontarf, and then I'll come over and see you and train." So I ended up doing 2 pre-season sessions in one day. I couldn't do that now. But I went there, and Pricey, God, when I first turned up, I think there was about 26 players there, and we played a game, and there was like 8 to 10 midfielders there. And I thought, centre midfielders now. I thought, fucking hell, it's going to be tough. But managed to break into the team, and that was my first experience of playing Division 1 under Steve. Loved it, and I think I was there about, must have been 4 or 5 seasons. So first season I broke in, second season was captain, stayed there, and then I left and went to Haverfordwest, went down Haverfordwest, then I come back, and then you Haverfordwest, only 1 season, is that right? No, not even a season. I left.
It was when they got relegated. When
they just come down.
I got to mention this. You scored a worldie against me in the last minute of a cup game down there.
Right.
Like across the Cadiog, we were at the time. We beat us 5-3.
Yeah.
But it was like 4-3, end to end, and then you pinged one about 30 yards. So you probably didn't have that many of those. So I thought I'd mention it.
Unless it was a set play,
top corner. I remember just looking at you thinking, that's that prick from Neath.
But no, I again, mate. I'd like to think that the moves I made in my career were progressive moves. Yeah. So weren't just somewhere for money or they was trying to enhance. So and with Ponty that season, we'd done really well. We'd finished 4th in the league. Yeah. We had a really good season, and it was actually we had a game out. So Haverfordwest the season had finished. And we had a game down Garden Village's ground, because Ponty was used for the cricket, so they'd always have to play the last games away, wouldn't they?
Yeah, it's like an open field on one side, wasn't it?
So we played at Garden Village against Penrith Khyber, and Mickey Ellis, who was the manager then, and Wayne Jones, they were taking over, Wolvesy, great character Wolvesy, they come to watch. And that was our last game of the season. I remember because Pricey wanted to fill them in. And then we played the game. We beat them 4-1. And they rung me the next day And that's when Pricey was feeling, he's like, fucking, the season's only a day old, they can't be ringing you now and stuff like that. But it was
Pricey never makes signings.
I don't make that quick though.
We're funny like that though, aren't we? I remember
she was on the other foot now, wasn't it?
Dean Morris was after Christian Deutsch when we were across the Cayley. He was into him all the time. And he'd be ringing me on the Wednesday for a chat.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I fucking know what you're saying to Deutsch. And I but I can't kick off. I'm doing the same to Cwmamman Celtic at the same time. You know what I mean? But we all get touchy.
Yeah, 100%.
But we do exactly the same thing.
Yeah. So it was, it went down Haverfordwest. Loved it down there, mate. It was really good, but I think they were adapting to the league, and it took them 2 or 3 years to get out, and I think it was a bit of a culture shock, because when we went there, obviously, you get all the kit, the Bridge Meadows, like Wembley, and we played, they were lured into a false pretences, because we played Aberystwyth at home, Pontardawe at home, Cardiff City at home. I think we beat Pontardawe like 5-0, which was a mad one. Drew with Aberystwyth, or beat Aberystwyth, beat Cardiff City under 21s or whatever. So flying in pre-season. Risker, there's a photo of me and Paul Michael, we always send to him when we play, like Risker come down pre-season. So, but we just played on the meadow, and I remember saying to Wolvesy and Mickey, I said, boys, we need an away friendly. Our second fixture was fucking West End at Pride Airy.
All about
so, especially going to Ponty Player, going back there. At the horse. Turn
left at the social club, right at the pony.
I got to be careful. A couple of like my best mates from there, so I can't slag down a lot. But no. So anyway, we went down there. We played Aberystwyth first game of the season, and that was the year Aberystwyth, I think. They put the managers in who took like most of the budget, didn't they? So the playing squad weren't great, but the management was a gent. So apparently their budget was like 350, and they were taking like 250. So we beat them 5-0. Allegedly, we beat them 5-0 at home, and everyone was like, fuck it. And I was like, fucking Wednesday night at Pride Airy, boys, it's going to be different. And Jesus Christ, it was. I broke my ankle in the game. I think Nilo done me, and I chipped the bone on my ankle. But first, straight from kick-off, ball pass back to me. I've set it out, as you always do, kick-off, into full-back, launch it, didn't you? Ball's come to me, I've set it back. Kieran Cullen, run straight past, bang, elbow straight in the face. You're thinking, fuck, this is how it's going to be. Obviously, being a former Ponty player, they know me, fucking kicked me from pillar to post. I think 20 minutes had gone off, my ankle was bust.
How long were you out with that?
I was out for about 8 weeks. It turned out it weren't as bad as what was first feared. So I think it was about 8 weeks. Got back in, but Haverfordwest hadn't had a great start then. I remember my first game back was Goytre away or something. Or might be Porth away. I can't remember. It might have been Porth away. And it was tough. So then they ended up sacking Mickey Ellis and Wolvesy. Mickey then went to kitman. Wolvesy went to assistant, and they brought in Leighton James. God rest his soul. What a character.
It's not live yet. But we spoke to Di Morgan on Monday, and Leighton came up.
Didn't he go to Aberystwyth for a bit?
He did. And what I was telling Di was that he was given my number to talk to about players at that level because he didn't know any. So
Leighton come in. He was obviously a very talented footballer, but it was a bit of a disaster from the start. Tell you some good stories about him now. So we trained on the Wednesday, so we trained down the Bridge Meadow. So get down there, and he's pulled me and he's gone, Gareth, I want to speak to you at the end. I'm like, Gareth. So he's I want to speak to you after training. I was like, okay, no worries. So we just played 11v11 on the Bridge Meadow now. So we're shouting over all the time, Gareth, get on the ball, Gareth. So fucking. So anyway, it's me. So play the game now, just have a 90-minute game. Go in the changing rooms afterwards. I've walked up to him and I said, right, Lich, you want to speak to me? No, it's all right. So I was like, all right, okay. So get in the car now, it's about 10:30. We start, as we were about to drive off. He's come running out the car, coming up to the car, wow, I want to speak to you. I was like, right, okay. So alarm bell's already ringing. So I said, yeah, okay. So he's called me in and he said, I'm going to make you captain. So I was like, all right, okay, yeah, no problem. So I was like, we had Cardiff Met away on the Saturday, right? Now, Haverfordwest, back then, they had local players there, Chris O'Sullivan, Gareth Elliott, they were the captains, vice captain, very passionate about the club, totally understand it. Sully's a legend down there.
Yeah.
You know, Gareth was a great centre-half down there at the time. I don't think he had told them. So he pulled me and said, look, you're going to be captain. But it was the Rugby World Cup was on in New Zealand.
Right,
2005.
So it was on, was it 2000?
No,
but it was, so it was early kickoffs in the rugby, like New Zealand, it was like 7:30 kickoffs. So Leighton James owned the pub. He was a landlord. So he was going opening up the pub. Don't know what he was drinking.
It's got to be about 2010.
2011.
Something like that.
It was,
Yeah,
it's
2010, 2011, something like that.
2003, 2007, yeah. Like,
So he was a landlord of a pub.
Yeah.
So obviously he was going to open the pub earlier. I think he must have been on it as well.
Right.
So we've got Cardiff Met away now. His first game as a manager. My first game as a captain. Later find out he hadn't told them that I was going to be captain. So he's late now for this game. So he's turned up and then he's walked in, he's named the team and just said, oh, Garry Taylor's captain. Dagger straight away from the local boys as if, it's fuck all to do with me. I'm just, you know, being made captain. So it was thinking, oh, fucking hell, so we've gone out. And then a couple of the local boys have ended up leaving because of how it's been handled and stuff like that. But then the following week, I think we had someone else and Leighton didn't come to the game. He went to watch an opposite. We had a cup game, so we went to watch an opposition and things like that. So it was a bit of a... and then he moved me to right wing back.
You had a competitive football match.
We had a cup game.
And the manager didn't
go. He went to watch another game.
Right.
He went to watch a league game where we were playing like the week after. So then he moved me to, he bought him Mumford. He knew Mumford from Cletley. He bought him Mumford, so he moved Mumford to the sitter and he moved me to right wing back.
So
that was fun on the bridge.
I've got to clarify this for the audience now, right?
Yeah.
Leighton James watched you play football and said, there's a wing back.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know where he's come up there, and he wondered why he got sacked. Yeah, but yeah. So and literally, mate, I don't know how it worked out. We played like Barry Town 3 games in a row.
Oh, really?
It was really strange, and I was up against Tom Ramsden every fucking game.
Oh,
so,
yeah, good luck with that.
But I got moved to the right quite a bit. Pricey's done it at Ponty, and we played centre midfield. It was 4-4-2 then, and then a couple of games I was right wing, and I remember I went out there for a spell, about 7 games, and I must have scored and assisted in quite a bit, so I was stuck there. So I was thinking, I need to change it with you. I don't want to be, but literally, because I had no pace or anything, I would just get the ball out with my feet and just cross it early, and like, so it kind of worked a little bit. But down the bridge, mate, it was minging. So anyway, we played Goytre away. We lose 3-0. I took a knock or something, so go training the Wednesday. So we trained down Queen Elizabeth School, down Cwmamman. We didn't actually train. So as you walk into the AstroTurf, you train on there's 2, obviously it's full pitch. We train usually on the bottom half, but for some reason this week we trained on the top half. Right. So I weren't training, I was coming down for physio. So as I've got down, Leighton's there, Leighton James, get out of the car, I got. So I'm like, yeah, right.
Does he know your name by now?
He knows my name by now, right? But, you know, I don't think I'm saying anything that people didn't know Leighton was a drinker.
He was well known as a character and liked the pint.
Liked the pint, right? So Leighton, you could smell now on the breath. And Kifty was there at Haverfordwest with me, and so Kifty was there and stuff. So get there, I've come out with a treatment, and me and Leighton are there. So we're walking onto the pitch and we're just having a chat now. Fucking brilliant, right? So whereas we usually train on the bottom half, we're now training on the top half. I don't know why, whether we got there late or whatever. Right. So as we're walking onto the pitch, Leighton starts coaching this first team, thinking it's us. So I'm walking up with him now, me and Leighton, and then he said, hang about that. So he's shouting stuff on. So I'm standing there now, and these players are looking at me as if, like, fucking, who's this? Yeah. So I'm standing, and I give him a nudge, and I said, Leighton, we're up at top, mate. And he's gone, oh, all right. And that was it. And then we walked up, and the club parted ways with him that night. So then Mickey Ellis ended up given the job again with Wolvesy, but they changed all the money around and stuff like that, which they agreed that they never do.
So is this a question of by then they know they're not getting promoted?
They're not getting promoted, but also
so
like
save a bit of cash. Like.
Yeah, and I was like, look, I'm not travelling down for that. Training had gone a little bit to the dogs. You know, we were training in a multi-story car park. You know, sometimes just doing running because they didn't have venues down there at the time. So it'd gone a little bit. Like Wolvesy was great. I loved Wolvesy. Mickey Ellis is great. He's still with the club now. Great people. But I was just, when the club went back on what was agreed, it was like...
Is it that bad down there for facilities, or it was?
It was then.
Do you remember when Gavin Chesterfield went there briefly?
Yeah.
They were in the Welsh Premier League, and I was shocked to hear they were in the Welsh Premier League and didn't train.
Yeah, well, like I said, we were training in a multi-storey car park at one stage, and then we managed to secure a school. But that was quite a late booking. So when you think of how many boys were travelling and you were getting in, and I didn't mind the travelling. I was coaching with the SWAT. Like, travelling's never been an issue for me.
Yeah.
But I don't mind travelling as long as I feel like I'm getting. You go in there and you're going to train. I'm not travelling down there. And we just having a kick about and things. So it was tough. So I think I was just there at the wrong time where the club was adapting to the league. It was always going to be, not many teams bounce straight back up to there. You look at Cletley coming down, you look, Barry done it because they kept the majority of their squad and went straight back up. But generally when you come down, it takes you a couple of years. And I was
losing becomes a habit.
Yeah. And I was probably just at that spell, great club, just probably at the wrong time.
Yeah.
When could I give it longer? Yes, I'm not saying any different, but I just didn't feel... And then Pricey was back on the phone, so I went back there. But I did always say to him, "I'll come back to the end of the season," and then I went to Goytre for a little bit as well. But I can't.
Goytre,
But I don't know if it was after the game I got sent off in that you actually wrote a report in for me. Do you remember that? Was that the season you and Della were? We played Cwmamman Celtic.
Yeah, Cwmamman Celtic.
And the ref sent it off after about 5 minutes.
That's
do you remember
right,
for the elbow?
Yeah.
That no one's seen in the ground.
Yeah.
So we played Cwmamman Celtic.
Reputation.
Yeah. So we played Cwmamman.
Right,
it was the ref, Lewis Edwards. He's Lino now in the Welsh Prem.
You know who he's talking about.
I do know.
Yeah. So he refed it.
So where we first encountered Lewis, who was he was the busiest linesman in Welsh League football when he was starting. And obviously he's progressed now.
He doesn't do Cymru South. I think he just does the Prem.
Yeah,
I haven't seen
he's
him.
obviously progressed and also quite matured as a bloke, I would imagine as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Who's this? This could be anyone. Sorry, Cole. Yeah. So anyway.
I thought that was going to be me talking.
Yeah. The roof. So anyway. So that game, I think it was 2 teams down in and around it. Yeah. And it was like, it must have been about April time because the pitch was rock hard, so we kicked off.
Yeah, it was late.
And I don't want to be, like, obviously you would have thought that I was one of the better players for Ponty and things. So the ball, it was Della's son, Craig, is it Craig?
Craig Chidi.
Craig Chidi. So me and him would have battles. You sent me each game as fucking.
Yeah, he's that type of player,
yeah. So the ball's bounce, and I can't head the ball for toffee, so the ball's gone up. He's beat me in the air, standard. So then next thing, ball, I think there's another header's gone out. You were... like you were demoing the other day.
Oh, no.
And then next thing, Lewis has come over, and it's right in front of your dugout, actually. Yeah. And he's shown me a red. And it was one of them people, and he said, "You, elbow off." So I'm thinking, Pricey's gone ballistic, back and lost it. So I've been sent off, and to be fair, you and Della both said, referee, and even Craig Chedi went to the ref, and he said at the time, he said referee made a mistake, so he sent me off. So what happened then, because of Ponty, so this was about, and it was a big game, it was early on. So in a half-time then, I'm stood in the corner, because I've been watching the game but there. The ref's walked in, and I said, "Ref, can you just explain to me?" And he's like, "Get out your feet," one of them. And I've made a few comments. So I ended up having a 7-game ban, because I had 3 for the straight red, and I had 4 for the white paper, but it was weird that the 3 come in straight away, the 4 didn't. So when I signed for Goytre, I was actually banned for the first 4 games of the season, which was a bit of a killer. But
that Pontardawe game, right, it was actually an important game for Celtic, right, because we'd been 2nd in the league in January, and then anyone that was a striker, either we had to kick out of the club, and we had Shane Williamson, and we had Nana Barr, out for most of the season.
Yeah, I don't think that played.
Scott Lanyon, the club decided had to leave against my wishes. But it was. I think it was a historical thing with Scott Lanyon.
So Della was your 2.
Yeah. But we then lost something like 9 in a row, from 2nd in the league in January to like 4. And Nana strapped himself up that day, played, and I actually said to him that right, Nana, if you win us this game today, because it would have meant we were safe, we'll clap you off the pitch.
Yeah.
Right? Now look, Luck's with us that day. You get sent off early.
Yeah.
So not only 10 men, but the guy that I felt kind of made him tick in midfield, gone.
Yeah.
And we scrape over the line, don't we?
I can't remember the
We win the game.
score. Yeah.
So of course after the game it was a hot day, so we sit on the pitch and do that. And I did make them all clap Nana Bar off the pitch in the tunnel like that, which you can imagine Nana loved.
Yeah.
Milking it. Do you know what I mean?
But yeah, I just remember the ref then. Yeah, he put, so actually when I gone to Goytre, I was banned for the first 4 games. Derek Brazil signed me.
Derek.
And then Goytre they had a really bad start. I come back for my first game. It must have been the year West End won the league.
Yes.
It must have been that season. Because we played West End my first game. They battered us.
Yeah.
And then that night, Derek Brazil got blinking sacked. It was like 4 or 5 games in.
Like second bottom, weren't you?
Yeah,
and at that time, that club had
it must have been. It was the 5th game. My game was the 5th game because I was banned the first 4. Come in the 5th game, started, lost to West End. They got rid of Dell, and then Cookie come in. And yeah, it was. I think my daughter was born. It was a bit of, it didn't fit. There was not history with Cookie. That's the wrong thing because I get on with Cookie, but with Ponty, with Pricey, there was a bit of thing there. So I don't know whether I was perceived in the wrong.
Right.
Like, do you know when you just think he's not having me one bit by ear type of thing? And I just remember I tried getting. Cookie had organised a training game, and I was coaching that night. The training game was 6:30, and I was coaching till 6:30. And I said, "Oh, look, mate, I can't get you till." And he said, "You either get you or you're done." And I was like, "Oh fuck!" So I juggled everything around to get there. I turned up, and I was the first person. I was the only person there. He'd moved kick off to 7 o'clock, and so I thought there was a few things. So that's how then I ended up going back to Ponty. Steve was still there at the time. Went back to Ponty. And then Pricey left. He left the club that year and went to Garden Village. But Garden Village were Division 2, Ponty were Division 1. He left and took a few. Obviously wanted. And I said no. I stayed with Pontardawe that season. Stayed with them. And then Garden Village got promoted. And then I went the following year to Garden Village. Had a season and a bit there. But my body, I started getting loads of. My problem was I'd always play or come back from injury too soon, which you don't realise at the time until you now and your ankles, it all adds up. And so and then Pricey ended up leaving Garden Village. He'd finished with football, took a break for a bit. A new manager took over. It was awful, awful. And then I took a break. Come out of it for a bit. I needed to rest because I'm flat out. I'm in it. And
where are we now? We're at about 2030.
Yeah, I don't know what year, because then I come out of it for a spell, and then Jono took over Goytre. I can't remember what year it was with Goytre. And Jono rang me and he said, "Will you come and play?" And I went training with Goytre, and I tore my thigh, and I still got the dent in it now. Tore my thigh, come back, done my quad, my calf, sorry. So it was just, and then when I finally got fit, it was about March, and there was no transfer windows going back in. And Ponty were bottom or down the bottom of Division 2, and they were close to going down. So Dykesy had rung me and said, "Will you come back?" Goytre were playing for nothing. Like game-wise, nothing to play for. Ponty had about 10 games left I wanted to play, so I went back to Ponty. And then Stokesy took over in the summer, who was obviously my best mate, and just stayed there then, got myself back fit, and stayed there then. And that
so in this spell at Pontardawe is obviously one of the times we encounter each other then is in our area, a very well-known match, STM Sports, that we're managing
surprised that's come up.
and against Pontardawe,
which I blame Rodri for.
Well, you can explain why it was his fault now. So do you want to take it from there, Rod?
No, like Garry said.
Well,
it was
the short version without any bias either side is it's late in the game, we're winning by 1. You're trying to get back in the game. We're second or top at the time.
Yeah. We were we were up there as well, weren't we?
You weren't far off.
Yeah,
it was us and Pontardawe,
yeah.
and then a little gap to about 3 or 4
I think we
more.
fancied, yeah. So,
but tight game, physical game, but you'd expect that in the winter.
Yeah.
And anyway, in the dying embers of the game, you go to try and retrieve the ball in the corner that Curtis Scotto is holding up, and it then leads to Curtis Scotto going away in an ambulance and out of football for about 2 years with the injury.
Yeah.
So, you take it from there?
Yeah. Well, you made me sound really good then, but
I wanted to make it as sort of ambiguous as possible.
No, so
obviously I also know what really happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So again, I'll tell my story. If you think it's any different, you can add to it. So first and foremost, absolutely devastated to the injury. He was a great player. And it's great. It's great to see him back, and I'll touch upon that now in a minute. But I remember the game. We might not have been in the pack, but we felt that we could. Yeah. We won that, and it was
only like mid-season.
Yeah, but it was. Yeah. I think the Asian ref, the beard, he used to wear it. Amin refed it right, and it was a controversial goal. I think it was a dubious offside that you scored. It was quite tight. Then you've gone and scored 1-0. And the reason I remember, because the following week we have gone Village, which is a big derby for us at Pontawe at the time. I'm on 4 bookings. So Stokes had said to me going in the game, whatever you do, don't get booked, don't get booked, don't get booked. So that was always in the back of my mind, don't get booked. Yeah. So it was 1-0. Scotto then takes the ball to the corner. But I weren't in the corner. So what had happened, he took the ball to the corner with the centre half. He then rolls the centre half, driving into the box. So I've come across, tackled him.
Yeah.
The referee has given the goal kick.
Yeah.
So the ref's given the goal kick.
Yeah, he did,
yeah. So he didn't give anything. He's given the goal kick. We're all then set up on the halfway line, and I just remember you then going mad saying, ref, his knees, he's off the pitch, he's screaming, which naturally you players down injured, you would.
He was about a yard on the pitch, but you could, when you just know how someone's lying, that's a serious one.
Yeah.
Like,
so you were going mad at the thing. So our bench then are going mad saying, the ref's given a goal. So I felt in the time then, because no one wants to see an injury, but it was, and then the ref brought it back. He's shown me then a straight red card, and then given the free kick, because it was like on the edge of the goal line and the edge of the box, and he'd given a free kick, shown me a straight red card. So our bench are in uproar thinking, you've given a goal. He hadn't consulted with anyone. Yeah. So he's gone off the reaction of the injury, which unfortunately we could go for a header now. You could come down on your ankle and bust it, so, and then obviously it all kicked off. But I was devastated by that, and the truth, because I messaged you straight away asking for Scotto's number. Yeah.
Well, if you remember, I was, a load of St Mellons lads there screaming and shouting and whatever, and it was getting a bit tasty, and it's a bit of a walk back to the change room. And I actually walked you back to say like. Yeah. But so my view on the tackle, and this is quite controversial where I live, right? Because I had the best view possible of anyone in that ground of that tackle. Some people over the barrier that were watching the game would have seen, all they would have seen is Scotto, you coming in, and then a clatter. People on the pitch, his mates, would have seen a different angle. I'm looking straight down the line, and I can see him and you at the moment that you impact. And
it was like a block tackle.
It was a goal kick.
Yeah, and that's what the ref gave the goal kick.
And that was why I was so... Because if you had gone in to do him, right, and he's such a lovely lad as well, right?
But there was no animosity in that type of game.
I would have been in the melee trying to get at you. Do you know what I mean? But I'd seen it, and I thought, nah, this ain't right, you know that.
So what leads from that? So obviously I had then messaged you, can I have Scotto's number? Yeah. Got hold of Curtis Scotto, and to this day I've kept the texts. And I've got them on my phone because what happened then was bang out of order, was escalated, and I kind of feel for it because we kept in touch for I was sending texts that week, and he was like, look, don't feel guilty, it weren't like, and he says that in his texts, it weren't nothing bad. That's why I can't understand why the rest has followed on the basis.
He's a great boy, Kurt.
Yeah, but on the basis of the messages I've had, I can't understand then how the year later we go up there, they lock us in the pitch afterwards trying to kill us. Based on
did that happen, did it?
Yeah, so basically,
I was gone by then.
you had left then. So basically, off the messages that I had with Curtis, what followed didn't make sense. And that's where I've always had my grievances with it. So, like I said, I done everything in my power. I even said to Curtis, I'll go to Cardiff, whatever, to see it, whatever. I was devastated, mate. No one, I've got a child, you know, kids to play for, that's the last thing. I was always a strong player, but I don't think you'd ever say I was dirty or anything like that, or cross the line, as we just talked about my 7-game ban, like, but, yeah, so I was devastated, like I said, sent texts to him that week, which I've always kept on my phone, because actually I was working for the FAW the other week, and someone pulled me on, like, brought it up, said, oh, you were the guy that done Scotland, weren't you? I was like, no, mate, I weren't. And I showed him the text messages, and he was like, oh, that's not how we were perceived. I was like, yeah, I know. There's two sides to every story. So we then, the following, you must have gone. Yeah, we had. You'd gone, you can't be there long.
We went to the end of January.
So we played them at home.
Second in the league and 2 points off top wasn't sufficient.
Well, obviously, I got a great relationship with Geezer. So
same here.
Geezer's the top man, and again we'll come on to him in a bit. But so when we played the reverse game at Pontardawe, they come down. I think we won 3. I'm pretty sure I missed a penalty, but my God, they kicked fuck out of me, right? They kicked fuck out, which happens, understandable. But STM was a great team. They were brilliant. When you look at Josh Graham, who I think is one of the best players at this level. Josh is, what I love about Josh, he runs behind, he's an old throwback type of footballer. They had Marcus in his prime, Joey Evans, you know, they were, Lamet, really good team. And you only have to look at their success to see that it was a brilliant team. So then the year after we go up there, and typical, I scored a penalty in the last minute, and I do let loose in my celebration because we'd had shit all game. It was like 4-3, and I put one in the stands 4-4. But obviously you have that entrance to New, and they barricaded the entrance, and I think his family people were on the pitch, and they were obviously going for me, and like boy with the and one of the people filmed it from Pontardawe, and if Ponty had actually sent the video in, it would have been a lot worse, but they didn't. And the only thing, we managed to get out and hurt. But that year then, we both reached the FAW trophy semi-final, and they both put us in the same venue at Newtown. Like, STM were on first. It was the game the keeper claimed the racism, and it was on the news and everything. So they played before us, and then we were arriving after, and we were like this to the FAW. Don't know if it's good that we can both be in
the same place.
In the same place. And then when we played the home game, the reverse game, there was nothing on. I didn't play. I just stayed away to try and diffuse it. But it does grate me when you bump into some people and they say, oh, you and that. And I was like, it was a goal kick. The ref, look, injuries could happen any time. Do I wish it was a different outcome? Of course I do. He's back playing now, which is fantastic. But like I said, what didn't add up was the messages I had off him. And like I said, I reached out. I couldn't have tried to do any more. I was devastated. And then get the messages back, and then to go through what I went through in that game, it didn't tally.
I hate VOs, right?
Yeah. But I wish
that. But that is one of the times I wish it'd been.
Yeah, I do, 100%, and I get it. Maybe we were fine in Tex up until maybe he had the diagnosis, if that's the right word, of how long he was going to be out, and maybe then his head has gone, and that set him off. I don't know.
Do you know what? People would have been in his ear as well.
Yeah, I've never come across him since. Obviously, he's playing at a different level, and funny enough, we were looking at when I come into Lido. We were looking at strikers last year, and Scott's name came up because he scored. And I said to Mark, and Mark, spoke to him, and he sent Mark a text. I'll never fucking. And I was thinking, well, that's a bit different than the text that I had. But anyway, I look, I get it from his point. His grievance, he's had a bad injury, but you know what I think?
But
I'm glad he's back playing.
I mean, think about it yourself. If it were you,
yeah,
it's a challenge on near a goal line when you've just turned. And you don't think anything wrong's been done.
No.
But if every single person is telling you he's done you.
Yeah.
It's because he can't see. He didn't.
You will believe it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's not the type of lad to make things up in his own head. But if everyone, his mates that were there watching, his mates that were playing,
family
says, no, he's done you.
And mate, I was devastated because even in my texts that I've sent him, I say to him, because his mother was there and she was crying, and that's heartbreaking, mate. My mum comes to watch all my games, and it would be, there's nothing worse. And like I said, I've never stepped on a football pitch to hurt someone. It was a freak accident, because like I said, if I went into top, surely they'd break their shin, or it would have been that type of, a dislocation tells you, like, we've both hit the ball at the same time, and it's been but like I said, he's back playing. He hates my guts, which I don't know. He's going to feel aggrieved, but
as well, right? From it, yes, but fucking hell. I shout at referees for fuck all most of the time.
but you're protecting your player.
So I'm protecting the player. But what I would say on that is, right, at the point it's a goal kick. It's a goal kick.
Yeah.
My reactions. Amin didn't know what to do.
No.
Did he? He didn't know what to do. There wasn't long left. Kurt was still on the pitch.
Yeah.
Now, he said to me, move him off the pitch. And I'd said to him, rightly, I'm not moving him. I think he's done his knee. I am not moving the guy. And there was an assessor there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So
there was an assessor next to
stood about 10 yards away was Ray Ellingham.
Yeah.
And Ray Ellingham called him over because obviously there's a break in play, so it's not controversial for him to wander over. And Ray Ellingham said to him, how long's left? And he said, 40 seconds. He said, right, restart play from there, but tell STM Sports to boot that ball over the crossbar and you're going to blow the final whistle. Because otherwise, you've got to abandon the game.
Yeah, well, that nearly happened in the Triaris incident. But, like, no, and like I said, it does, because I was working for the FAW then on a coaching course, and Eston Chiverton was there.
Yeah.
And the Triaris manager last year, he's gone to Cardiff Corries this year. Sharif, is it Sharif?
Yeah.
So, nice guys, and we were just chatting, and he was like, oh, you're the one that done Scott, though, weren't you? And I was like, do you know when you're like, no.
Years later, you're still having to explain.
And I'm like,
do you feel the need to kind of go into it all and go, no, I didn't, blah, 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 blah. Like, do you...
Well, it depends. Like I said, ultimately, it's a bad injury, but, like, that's not... You know, these things happen in sport, unfortunately, don't they? Like Son done, the boy from Everton, Gomez is like, Son, you know, sometimes these things do happen in a contact sport. Like I said, do I wish it happened? Of course I didn't, but then it's just, you know, that unfortunately that always is going to be brought up at some point.
I said years later, because I know we talked about on my podcast with it, is that I work with Nigel.
Yeah.
And I've said to Nigel a few times over the years, so I don't know whether that directly had an involvement in the tackle. But the 3G wouldn't have helped.
No. And like you said, I've got a great relationship with Geezer, who's the chairman. It was a disappointing thing. And like I said, it's, at the end of the day, I'm just chuffed. He's back playing. He's back scoring goals.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't think it would happen. Yeah. You know, like I say, from my perspective, it was my team you were playing against.
Yeah,
and he's one of the most delightful players.
And he was top goal scorer at the time, and
his goal scoring is phenomenal.
But honestly, he was for players I've dealt with over the years, one of the most delightful guys to deal with as a player.
Yeah, and so like I said, I can understand where his frustration comes from, but that's how I perceived it. I'm glad you do, because that's how. And I've never known a referee to give a goal kick and then without consulting assistants, and they weren't on comms back then. Then to change it. So, but yeah, if I could go back and take that away from him, I will. Yeah,
he just panic.
Yeah, but well, I suppose when someone's screaming, it makes you think twice. So, I was the sort of coming to the end of playing full time into management happen, because you're obviously coaching.
Yeah,
and you've had an interesting coaching.
So me and Stokesy, who's my best mate, he was the manager at Ponty.
Yeah.
Me and him were coaching down the Swans together. So we were in the same college class, same uni class, and we were coaching down the academy. So I've been coaching since I was 16, 17. Yeah. So we worked for the Swans in the community. So coaching was thing. It was perfect for Stokesy because he had a player in me whose experience could at that level could still play. And you know, I was helping him with ideas and things like that, and it was great because obviously we were best, so we just bounce off each other. So I never felt inferior, like I was assistant manager. Like it was so open, the dialogue, and that's what I've tried to keep. It was like it was brilliant. And then our best mate became the goalkeeper coach the year we won the league, Damien. So it was just, you're doing it with your best mates. It was fantastic. You know, so when Stokesy took over then, so I was still playing. He put me down as first team coach, but I was mainly still playing. Yeah. And he had Richard South, another great guy with him, Southie. Do you remember Southie? Played centre half.
Only a couple of times lecturer. I encountered him.
Yeah, so he was his assistant, and Paul Lewis, and then they ended up moving on, and then the year I finished, it was COVID year, so I'd actually finished, whereas I was playing and first team coach, I was having a...
So do you mean the season that got slightly curtailed by COVID
No.
was going to be your last?
No,
or the
season before,
Right.
I was having a groin injury, and big part of my game was free kicks and corners, and it was fine that day. The next day then, agony. I wish I lived in a bungalow.
Trying to coach as well.
So it come to the end of that season, and I was like, look, Stokes, I think I'll call it a day. So that season I become assistant manager because Southie had left. So I become actually assistant manager. So we started the season, and we didn't have the best of starts. And our holding midfielder, who I'd been quite integral in signing, Sam Bala, I was like, look, he can do what I like, bring him in. He ended up dislocating his thumb really bad. So his thumb had come out and up really bad.
Right.
And we'd gone through a little sticky spell. So Stokesy said, you're going to have to... No, sorry, COVID year. Sorry, no. COVID, that was the season we won the league, sorry. So the year the season got curtailed for COVID, we had a really bad start to the season. We hadn't won. And we played Ely Rangers away in the Welsh Cup. And the game got called off. And then the FAW rearranged it. They rang us on the Monday and said, you've got to play this game Wednesday because they've got floodlights. We're not... Usually if it's off, it rolls on to the following week, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But they rang us and said, you've got 48, and we couldn't do anything about it. So we didn't have a full team. So Stokesy said to me, he said, you're going to have to go on the bench. And I hadn't been doing anything, joining in, nothing. As far as I was concerned, I'd finished. So we played Ely Rangers, Welsh Cup. We were 2-0 down. So come off the bench. We won 3-2. So Stokesy said, you're going to have to play Saturday. We played Croeso-Ceiliog on the Saturday. We haven't won in the league yet. So he said, you're going to have to play Saturday. So we played Croeso-Ceiliog home. We won 5-1. And then we just started flowing then, and we were doing really well, good cup run. And then played Kevin Druids away in the Welsh Cup, we lost the game, but put in a good performance. And we were really starting to motor. We went to Garm Village on a Friday night, beat them 5-0. Went to Goytre Gwent. We actually stopped Goytre Gwent going up because we played Goytre Gwent on the Tuesday night, and we beat them 1-0 up there. But Talbot played Caldicott the next night and beat them, and that was the points that Talbot got promoted for by points per game. Because 2 weeks later, COVID hit, the season stopped, and then we stopped for 2 years then, didn't we? What was it, 2 years or 18?
Well, one and a half. We lost an entire season, the end of that.
And me and you were texting.
Yeah.
I was going through on Twitter then, because I was running a football business.
That's
and we
right.
were texting about when's it going to open and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then, so that season then we come back, and I was 2 years older again, obviously.
Yeah.
So I weren't planning to play. And then that was the first year the leagues merged. Division 2 and Division 3 become Ardell West. Yeah. We benefited a little bit because we were in with more Division 3 teams than Division 2 teams. We had a good team anyway, because I think the year, if COVID didn't hit, I think we would have been there or thereabouts. Okay. We had good players, because Pontawe always had good youth players, and we'd have them. Yeah. So they were good youngsters coming through, but you're always developing them for elsewhere type of thing. So we had good players. So we had a really good team that year, and I weren't playing. And then, like I said, Sam Bala, freak injury, playing five-a-side football, popped his thumb and done it really bad. And he was 6 to 8 weeks. And Stokesy said, look, you're going to have to play. So I come back in the midfield then, holding role. And, we went on. And
CDM guy.
CDM, yeah. We went on in the pivot, quarterback role. So, come back.
You like a pivot, don't you?
Yeah.
Pivot!
Yeah, like friends, to the sofa. Yeah.
I got a little kid who plays in my football team. Great, best striker of the ball. He's the smallest player on the pitch, isn't he? And literally, that's what we say to him: just sit in the pivot.
Yeah. So we went back and we won the league. Won the league at Pontardawe. It was great. It was really close towards the end of the season. We went to Anashia on a Tuesday night, and we knew if we didn't lose up there, that was it, done. Not mathematically, but
That's an incredibly hard place to go.
Mate, there was, to be fair, there was about 600 people there, boisterous as fuck, you can imagine.
Yeah.
We were 2-0 up. They come back to 2-1, I believe. We then have a man sent off. We bring a sub on to secure the game. Johnny Coach's boys thick, like that. Gets sent off. He tries closing the keeper down. He gets booked, and then he's done something like kick a ball. So we have 10 men. Still to this day, I think they've scored, and the ref can't give it. Some of the boys go, no, he was definitely not in. How the ref hasn't crumbled, I don't know. Last couple of minutes, they've hit the ball. It's hit Tyler's I think it was Tyler. It's headed it onto the bar, the goal line, bang, out. Looked to me where I was on the line. I didn't play in that game. Looked to me on the line as if, oh, fuck, they've equalised. Ref didn't give it. Anyway, we ended up drawing the game 2-2. And then I think we needed 2 points for the remaining. And we actually won it up in Pontardawe. So, yeah, it was brilliant. And then I went on holiday, beginning of May, season finished. Because we're the old school, we book our holidays around football. Yeah. So, I booked my holiday, went away. Was on the balcony, have a text, Stokesy. He said, I need to speak to you about football. We've had a great opportunity. I'll speak to you when I get back. So I'm reading this again. I can't leave it now 5 days. I need to know what it is. So rung Stokesy. And he said, oh mate, look, been offered the Pontardawe job, Welsh Prem. Yeah. Obviously they've just gone up Welsh Prem. He said, obviously I want you to come with me. What's your thoughts like? So I said, all right then. But I couldn't go because of work. So when I got back, it just, because I was running a football company, a bit of business in Swansea, we'd run classes on a Saturday, and the owners were great. Their boy plays for Torquay, Jay Folston. Right. The owners were great for me, were around my family and the kids and stuff. So I only had to work one night out of 7. So then to ask him to change it, it just didn't work. So that's how I didn't end up going with him to Pontardawe. And then I took the Pontardawe manager's job in. Yeah. And that's how that come about, So, but to win the league with my best mate and the goalkeeper coach was also with 3 of us, best mate, it was special feeling, really special.
So how did you find it the first time you're sort of on your own?
It's tough.
Because football is full of people, even number 2s. Yeah. Oh, what's he doing that for? I fucking do this, I do that. And I just remember the first time I was there on my own. Yeah. Just thinking, I don't know, I've got to make all the decisions.
I think I was fortunate that when you're doing it with your best mate, there was that open dialogue. So it was never, Stokesy would never come in and go, this is what we're doing, this is what we're going for. Obviously, the final decision would always lie with him. Yeah. But we just, 3 of us around here, we'd have an open discussion, and generally we all come to it together. Yeah. There would be the odd occasion where Stokesy would go, no, I'm doing this. That was very rare. So I was used to that type of, it weren't like I was working and felt like this. So it was, I was fortunate in that sense that I worked for such a brilliant manager. And then Geezer, I think Geezer had applied for the job or put an application in for whether it was assistant manager. So Garry Thomas had come, and I was a bit sceptical because of all the SDM stuff. I thought, how's this going to work? Yeah. So I didn't know Geezer. I'd come across him obviously through football and stuff like that. But so I rang Geezer, and we just hit it off. Really good football bloke. Geezer come down, and he was perfect for me because I was young into it, but I wanted that experience in. And actually one of my toughest results in football, Geezer weren't there, and I wish he was. So Geezer come in, he was brilliant for me in pre-season, brilliant guy, like I said, great with the players, boys responded really well to him, and he was non-biased, which was, so that was the biggest thing, coming from that group.
He's got no previous.
He had no previous, so he was, like you said, that fresh eyes on it. But it was challenging because we had lost 9 of the squad, and 7 of them were starters. Right. So Steve.
Why is that? Why did that happen?
It was, I don't know, I can't say it's anything to do with money. It weren't nothing to do with the manager, Stokesy going. It probably, I had retired, which I would have if we'd gone up the Cymru South anyway. Yeah. Tom Gray, the centre-back, it was his last year in Welsh League. He said he weren't going to do another year. Callum Silcox and Jordan Langley had been offered big money to go to Ammanford. So they were going because we couldn't compete. We had the lowest, but we couldn't compete. Who else was there? I'm trying to think who else went. 2 of the boys had gone to university. That was the thing when you have students. They're in college. They get to uni, they go away.
They move away.
So we lost. So when I come in, I was rebuilding. So we lost 9 players, and when you think 7 your starting team, that's hard.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So Geezer was great, but Geezer was mindful. What he said coming down, he said, I don't want to fill the car up from Cardiff and bring them down, because you don't want that, which he understood it. He was like, you don't want those boys coming from up there.
It's like me with Pencoy, you know, I drive from Cardiff to Pencoy, no problem, but like, don't be thinking I'm bringing lads down from Cardiff, because firstly, it's not a Cardiff team. No. And secondly, what if I leave?
Yeah, exactly.
You'll lose 3 players as well. You know what I mean? You don't want them signing because they know me, the coach. You want them signing for the club, don't you? Yeah. So
Geezer was, like I said, he was brilliant for me, and I brought in a guy, Jody Thomas, as well, who was he was at Cwmamman, but great coach, great guy around the group of boys. So that was our management team to start. So I was working with 2 totally new people. My mate, who was the goalkeeper coach, he had finished because his shifts had changed in work, so you know that was tough. So we started at a good pre-season. We lost to Llandailos. Did we lose to Llandailos in the Welsh Cup, in the NG Cup preliminary round? I think we lost to them. They had some good boys from North, so we just got edged out. Then we played Abergavenny, where Sean Morton was the manager, Nicky Morgan was the assistant, and we beat them 4-0 or 4-1 first game of the season. Right. So I thought, I think this is easy stuff here. Yeah. And then second game, we were Ferry away on the Tuesday night. We lose 8-0 or 8-1. But that day, one of my players, Geezer, weren't there. Geezer was on holiday. Okay. And we lost my centre-back, who got injured, and I put a kid in. I shouldn't have put him in for his first game. He's a good player. He's gone on to be a good player now. He's at Cwmamman. But he weren't ready quite at the time, and I've chucked him in. But by doing that one change, I've moved about 3 different units to do it. I've pushed the centre-back in the midfield, blah, blah, rather than just going...
What was you thinking then about that?
Overthinking, just being new to it, overthinking, trying to think, oh, we've got a centre-back on the back, and he can go into mid... Basically, my midfielder got injured, so I moved my centre-back into midfield, knowing I had a midfielder, a defender to go into defence. Whereas in hindsight, if Geezer was there, Geezer would have gone, just put him in there. Just put him in there, just don't change anything. And we lost 8-0. It was, it was, you know... They're
horrible. Those nights are horrible.
Yeah, and it was really tough. Yeah. And it just felt like... Didn't feel like we got peppered on the night. It just felt like every shot led to a goal. Yeah. So it weren't like they've had 16 shots and scored 8 times. It probably felt like they've had 8 chances and scored 8 goals. Yeah. So, and I always remember Hillo wouldn't share the VO with me. So after I get on well with Hillo, and I said, and he was like, no, I don't want teams seeing how I play. And I was like, fucking hell, and there could be 4 managers in the stand watching. Yeah. And I was like, I just want to see, we lost 8-0, I just want to see where they... And we went to Anashir then on a Saturday, which is obviously a tough place to go. They'd come up with us. Yeah. And we won. We beat them. It was a great result up there on the back of an 8-0.
They don't lose much up there.
No, on the back of an 8-0. I think we won 2-1. So it was a great result. And then we slowly, and maybe that's where, like you said, the trust the process stuff come from, where we had spells where we'd lose 3 or 4, and I was like, we were doing all right in the games. Yeah. We were just naive because we were so young. Right. Naive things that were all like, we lost to Barrytown were different class. We lost by 2 set plays, so we lost 2-1. And what happened, because of the whole Tree Harris incident, where the keeper, so that we, just before the transfer window, the FAW dropped the 7-game ban on my goalkeeper. So we had to go out and sign.
What was the Tree Harris incident? Because you've mentioned it a couple of times.
With
what
the punch, that? Where they went all over the...
Oh, the stuff that was all over Twitter and everything else.
Because of Nana, no one else. Yeah. So, so basically that,
so you had no keeper for 7?
We had to, just before so bear in mind now, that incident that happened the season before, the FAW had all the pre-season to sort it out. And the week before the transfer window, they go, bang, your keeper's got a 7-game ban. So we had to get a keeper in. So that was in my first season. So you're dealing with that. So quite a lot.
Persuade Stanton, could you?
It did think about it. Pack of fizzy Haribos. So obviously we had that to deal with, but we lost to Barry 2-1. Yeah. So we put in a really good performance against a strong Barry team. We've been undone by 2 set plays, and that's the naivety and difference. So we'd go, and I was like, boys, keep it, like, it weren't like we would lose and I think we need to make radical changes here. Sometimes you lose game, teams are better than you. You don't have to overthink and think.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you just play better opposition.
Yeah.
So the stuff we done against Barry might work against, I'm not going to name a team, but like, you know what I mean.
And
but
not Barry.
Yeah. So we ended up then, we went on good runs, then we'd have a little indifferent spell and we were a bit inconsistent. But the back end of the season, we went on a really great run. And we finished strong. I think we finished 8th or 9th. I was shortlisted for manager of the season. It was me, Lee John and Ken's. Yeah. Ken's won it, which he doesn't let me forget.
I bet.
But I actually, and then obviously the following season we get relegated. I was a better manager in the second season.
So finally, Afan Lido. So you've moved from Llanelli. You've obviously survived. Pretty comfortable in the end.
It didn't feel that way. It didn't feel that way. But yeah, in the end, pretty comfortable. I think I'd come in 10 games into the season, so we had 20 games remaining. So yeah, it was good. It was a fresh challenge, which I needed. It was just getting back into management, and the boys year to date in the club have been fantastic. So yeah, my first game was Cwmamman away, which we just got edged out 3-2. Then we had Trevelyan year at home, which is I think it was a crowd of like 1,000 people as well. 1,000
really?
people, yeah. It was a big, both games against Trevelyan were big crowds.
Friday nights, were they?
Yeah, Friday nights. And one of them was, I think it was like 30th of December then. So it might have been a Tuesday night, but over that Christmas. Over there, yeah. So, so we played, so a tough start because obviously Cwmamman were top of the league. So we lost 3-2, and then we had Trevelyan who were pushing there. I think they were about 3rd or 4th. So we managed to draw at home with Trevelyan. And then, we had a couple of cup games against lower opposition, which come at a nice time to get a couple of wins under your belt and build stuff, bit of momentum. And then, we won the Boxing Day game against Goytre. Then we drew with Trevelyan in that game, the 30th, which was a cracking game, which I touched upon whereas when we played Trevelyan in the home game, because it was so early into my spell, I was like, let's just sit off, let them have the ball, sit off, don't play through. And then the second game, I felt, let's go for it, let's go after them. We went man for man, really good. Scored a goal, they could have scored a couple, and then we could see the last minute, 1-1. And then January was important to get players through the door, which we did. We signed really well, and we went through a sticky patch in January where we didn't win in 4, but performances were pretty decent. And then once we come out of that spell, I think we went on a run of 8 or 9 games unbeaten, and because we had really tough fixtures at the end. We had like Pontardawe, Llanelli, Cwmamman, and you're looking at that, 3 of them going for the league type of thing.
That's the worst thing, I suppose, isn't it? Is that when someone's going for something at the end. So if they're trying to stay up, or if they're trying to get promoted, it's tough, isn't it?
And that was the thing, because obviously we went to Llanelli, and Llanelli needed to beat us to obviously stay in the title race or win it. And I went there then thinking, well, I need to win because we need to stay up type of thing. I can't have 2 relegations and stuff. And we ended up drawing the game, and there was a part of me that I didn't want Llanelli. I wanted Llanelli to win the league, so I didn't it was tough. And then obviously we played Cwmamman, we ended up beating them, so it ended up Llanelli won the league anyway, and it was great for us. But so it was good. It was a challenge. Lots you put into it, because it's a lot of commitment at our level that people don't understand. And I run my boys' academy team on top of that, and as well. And
do you ever go home?
So it doesn't feel like so. Very busy, but it all fits into the schedule.
How long do you find the time for that?
So he trains, kind of built it around. So the academy train Monday, Thursday, play Sunday, and we are generally Tuesday and Friday nights, or Tuesday and Saturday nights, so it kind of fits in. My daughter hates it. Dad, you're going to football again? You're going to football again? But no, it kind of works. My boy's obsessed with football, so you get the balance right, and then that's where it's tough. Then in the summer holidays, you think you're going to have a break, but then you're trying to keep players, you're trying to sign players, you're trying to
anymore.
You meet players, you can't. Yeah. And the thing is, if you stop and start back later, and a team starts,
bang on.
You're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
We said that years ago, right? There were a couple of teams.
You said it on the pod about
the
Cardiff team, innit?
Yeah, there were teams in Cardiff that were starting at like in. My thing was I'm not going back till July.
Yeah.
Like first week of June, you heard of someone training, and we were like, oh my god. So of course, you let your players go and train with another club for a month and fall in love with it.
Yeah, you're screwed. But like coming back to Lido, whereas I like at Ponty I bought in geezer with massive experience, Carl Shaw, Jody Thomas. So when they come in here, I bought in Dan Williams. He used to be a manager in the West Wales Prem. So Dan loves it and he thrives off it. And so Dan was great for me. Chrissy Jones was here. So Chrissy's at Goytre now, but obviously being a pro, played for Neath, good experience. So lent on Chrissy. And Macca, Liam McCreesh, if you can't lean on people like Macca's experience, then, you know, I'm going to be, like I said, I'm not going to come in and try and reinvent the wheel and try and coach Macca when he's Welsh Prem Player of the Year and play, you know.
Bit of a legend in the town,
so you want to gain stuff off them type of people, and we got good people around us. You know, Couchy, like I said, the goalkeeper, he's legend here. You know, great guy, funny, great character. Doug. I've been fortunate that the clubs I've been at been real good football people. Like even Ponty, you got Garry Thomas, you got Jason Dykes, proper football blokes. And you, obviously when I took over, Mark Robinson was in Australia, New Zealand. He was with. So when I actually got appointed, I think it was mid-October or end of October. Mark went back till late. I think he got back the night we played Trevelyan away.
Okay.
So I hadn't seen Mark until, so I didn't get to work with Mark till about January. And like I said, you know, since I've been here, Alan Howell's great guy.
Known Alan a long time.
And Shrimps, the chairman, has been so supportive, brilliant. Any issues, you know, hasn't got too high when we've won, hasn't got too low when we've lost.
Yeah, that's the key,
you know, so really great. And to be fair, Mark in general has been, you know, really good. So really good football.
Another legend of the
football
club,
people. The history, the Robinsons, Phil is, you know. So and there was a bit of nostalgia towards Lido because Lido was always one of the first clubs with the floodlights. So like when I went, because of Ponty, we didn't have lights. We played that. We'd always be at Lido or Goytre watching Friday nights.
Right,
so I always remember. And whenever you come to Lido, it always feels busy. So it always feels like big crowd. So it feels. And one of the things, like we talk about with family and the commitments, Friday night football was a factor in me going to Clethley, the amount of Friday night games, and it's a factor with Lido because I do enjoy a Saturday game, but I'm more for the Friday games, which goes a bit against the grain a little bit, and it's nice having loads of like 3 Fridays and then a Saturday. That's the nice balance because I just feel like when you go and play somewhere and there's like 30-40 people watching, whereas a Friday night under the lights and there's like 200-300 people watching.
It's definitely better as a spectacle, I think. But I just selfishly look at it myself. I prefer Saturday football. And again, you know, you touched on it yourself earlier on, like when we were talking, like, you know, you almost you train your wives and your girlfriends and stuff around that. Saturday's football. Don't organise thing on Saturday. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, over the last 10 years, we've gone, but it might be Friday. So I might be free on Saturday, but I might not. But that Friday might be okay, but the next one might not. It's just a selfish lifestyle thing that, for me, that I don't really like it. But it's definitely better as a spectacle.
Yeah. So one of the things I was told when I come into they're not massive we won't get many in training and stuff, and training numbers have been brilliant.
Right.
You know, really good. And like I said, you know, taking over from a legend like Paul Evans it is hard because Evs is such a nice bloke, you know, whereas you'll have people giving opinions on different people or good or bad. Evs generally people, you know, speak really highly of, and he's a great guy. Spoke to him when I was getting the job, I phoned him and stuff, and no issues, brilliant. And like I said, I'm always mindful of, there was people in the changing room who were friends with Evs, so I didn't want to be like the old manager. I didn't want to be too everything, like we said, everything runs its course, and I felt like that when it come to an end of the pot. Like Evs had been here for a long time, and maybe it just needed a little bit of a freshen up. I don't think so, but like I come into a group that was good players, you know, and stuff like that. There was obviously players that have moved on since the time for different reasons. That's always naturally going to happen. We adjusted the budget slightly where I wanted to change stuff and introduce like, win bonuses and that rather than just, you know, which seemed to help and incentivize. Because where we were, I didn't want it to be like, boys, you can't just turn up. You know, turn up. Yeah, run so up there, pick up your money. So it's no, that seemed to help, and we got good players in at the right time. Like it's just hard to single people out. All the signings were really good, but they helped. They had good methods about them in terms of they were used to, like, so we signed like Brandon from Cardiff Met, so he was used to Cardiff Met training, so he comes in with that ethos. And then you got like Ben Parry, who was strength and conditioning coach at Cardiff City for 10 years, so had been around the professional environment, so he knew. So those are bringing standards, you know, amongst, you know, Dylan Williams was Swansea Uni. There was loads we bought in that just freshen up the place, and you know, and so it was really good. We went on a good run then. Coincided with, you know, people like Macca missed a lot of the first part of the season because he was out injured, and then he come back, was an important part of it. Liam Griff was out injured, got back fit for the last couple of games, so a lot of things fell into place as well. And then obviously pre-season, a chance to build and work on stuff. But we've had a lot of injuries in pre-season, which the Swans game we lost. My left back broke his leg, my centre midfielder broke his arm. Ty Watts done his ankle ligaments in training. Ben Parry broke his ribs again. So we've been going into games where we've got at the moment 6 or 7 missing most. You know, but we're slowly getting them back now, which will help. So you know, in regards to this season now, where we want to be is, you know, we want to be pushing as far up that table as we can.
But progress, I guess.
But progress, because I think we ended up 11th last year. We finished 11th last year, which was from where we come in. Like I said, we rate point adrift, so it was really good. So hopefully, we can kick on this year and have. Because I think when we had our pre-season meeting, I think it's been like 10 years since Lido been in the top 5. So I'd love to get to that point which when you look at the size of it. So
that's passed me by. That is a surprising stat for a club of this size, isn't it? Very surprising. So we'll hit the Twitter questions. You've already told me the answer to one earlier on, but so tell us how much fuss you made it when Pontardawe played Llanelli and you tried the cafe's chorizo hot dog.
So I was going to watch a game. It was we must have had Llanelli coming up or the opposition, so I went along to watch a game. Come straight from work, starving. Went in the cafe to get a cup of coffee, and what I perceived, I just thought I was ordering a hot dog. Got up to the stand, took a bite. Oh my god! It's like it was.
So you not like chorizo?
No, I like chorizo, but in small, not little slices, like, you know, not a full-on dog. Like, so took a bite of it, and you know, when you're not prepared for something, it was like it was vile. So that's where that come from. Basically.
It's like I said earlier, what a weird thing to have as the standard hot dog.
A chorizo.
Damn it, a little bit. I mean, a sausage with chorizo in, fair enough. But a chorizo hot dog, you would think. It's a bit fucking much.
So I thought the lady might give me a heads up
saying, on it now.
Saying, just to let you know, it's a chorizo. Nothing. It was just literally, there's your coffee, there's your hot dog. And then
refund?
No, did I? Fuck no. Yeah, I did ask for it. I did ask Wayne, but you know, tighter than cramp. But,
so, with Lido normally being a more direct team, has this changed the way you're coaching? So it's from Cymru Peldroid.
When the parody accounts, that's my mate.
One of the Garry lovers. But that's relative.
It is.
You know.
It is. I'd love to know who said it, but no, like I said, I think this perception that we're total football. Like I play total. It's not a Welsh league. You know, when you train 90 minutes a week, if that, sometimes there's only so much you can do. So we're realistic, and like I said, my philosophy, if you want to use that word, is kind of based on numbers. So like I said, if we play against a team who plays 4-5-1, they play one centre forward. I believe with a back four and a goalkeeper in your build, so 5, you should be playing out because you've got a 5 against a 1. Whereas if they play with a front 3 really high against you, you'd be madness to play. So we try and go over it. So
what do you make of that at the moment then? Because I mean that's a sensible approach to it in my opinion. But what do you make of this is how we're going to play no matter what the opposition does? Because obviously you're a bit more involved in coaching than just running a Cymru side. So, like, what do you make of that?
I'm kind of torn about it all because you see some really radical stuff and then they keep losing. You're thinking, where are you going with that? But then you see some really great stuff. And like, for instance, now, Crystal Palace goal in the cup final by Mateta. They've played out from the back, but they played long. Now, the reason they played out is to entice them in. So they've played out and they've gone in and they've led to the goal against Man City. It doesn't get mentioned because it's worked. Whereas when it goes wrong, everyone jumps on it. But like,
you know this style of play though, when it goes wrong, it looks horrific.
It looks awful. Yeah,
it looks awful. Like, oh my God, what are you doing?
Yeah, and it comes back like when I hear the things Pep's ruined football and stuff. Pep hasn't forced anyone to do it. Pep hasn't forced anyone to do it. Those teams choose to do it. Yeah, Pep obviously works, and it's the same with formations. Like being realistic, we'll generally play a 4-3-3 or a 3-5-2 now and again based on, but we generally go to that if there's unavailable injuries or whatever. Because the way, again, my philosophy, the way I look at it, I look at the best teams in the world, and whether this is me being too simplistic, I look at Paris Saint-Germain, Real Madrid, Liverpool, Arsenal. What do they all have in common? They all play back 4. So why would I then come to Afan Lido and try and play a back 3 when the best teams in the world who work with the best players in the world, the best coaches in the world, the best training facilities in the world, have these players unlimited hours, can put on any footage that they want to show. They generally play with the back 4. There's a reason for it. You know, and when you think of systems that Liverpool win the league, they play 4-3-3. So it's like Arsenal compete second, they 4-3-3, Man City. So it's like I try not to go too far away. It's when I see like people doing madness thing, they're inverting the fullback because they've seen it on the TV. And it's like you said about the long ball earlier. It doesn't happen because the centre half's just looked up and gone, I'll ping it there. There's been 3 or 4 movements to get there, to create that angle, to ping it there. But people just go, he's just pinged it there. And
I'm saying earlier, I know I go and watch Cardiff City a bit and watch my boy on the telly. Barry Murphy's got them playing the wingers really out on the touchline, literally chalk on the boots. And you can see they play, but the centre half, the 3 times I've gone to watch centre half, well, literally, they'll get the ball, the left winger's gone right on the touchline, out of his feet, and he'll ping it to the winger, who will take a touch. And you can hear people in the crowd going, stop fucking playing it long. And you're thinking, if you just actually watch the game, they're trying to isolate the winger one-on-one with a fullback.
But I think the fans have equally as much why the game's changes, and because fan snobbery has gone. So like the Swans now on our doorstep, it's like Swans had that philosophy of playing football which everyone loved, and then they used to slag Steve Cooper off because he went direct, and then they're moaning then Russell Martin was too radical. So it's like
I think it's morphed though. You know, I'm in the sort of Gary Neville camp on it of like,
you don't go to football to see your centre backs and goalies on the ball.
If I come to watch you on Friday, I'm not coming to watch your keeper stand on the ball and wait for someone to come and press so that you can then do it. I'm not coming to watch your 6'3" centre half. Not saying yours is, but potentially the worst passer in the ground having more touches than.
But you know,
your best player.
A bit controversial here, but do you know why I think it is now? Because we've got more coaches now who ain't playing football becoming coaches. So and then, like I look back, like I've got my A license now, right? But I done my B going back about 10-15 years, and it expired and I had to redo all my badges, right? But the B going back years ago, you'd be mic'd up, you'd be filmed. It was proper intense. And it was like when I see a 22, 23, 24-year-old now having their A license, a B license, I'm thinking, I don't know if you can be. I think back when I was that age, and I was thinking, I was miles off being an A license coach then to where I am now. And it's like, I always feel like you should be able to demo. Like, I'm not one of these that thinks you have to be a great player to be a great coach. I'm not one of them, right? But you've got to have a competency of being able to step in and show that pass or detail, or like, show it and understand and feel it. So how can you go in and say to a midfielder, look, you should be on it, when you've never been in that environment, not in terms of on a pro level, just in the pitch in general. And I think
I have it in my job as well. There are people that work in the industry that I work in that come in telling golf clubs, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, and they've never worked a day in a golf club in their life. And what I see is when they're dealing with committees and boards of golf clubs, which are very similar to football clubs, they don't have the immediate respect of the people in the room, and they almost look at them, how do you know that? And I think there are exceptions.
Yeah.
But I think if you can't even demo something simple, I don't think you're getting the credibility from the players you're coaching.
But it's very easy then, I think, now in football, because we can go on YouTube, you can watch any, and it's very easy to coach robotic football now. The hardest thing is those maverick, those flair players, those, you know, whereas now you watch football, you know where the ball's going to go before it's gone there. Whereas before you didn't know that centre midfielder, what's he going to do with that ball. Whereas now it's so strategic. You know that centre midfielder is only going to pass there, and you know, so it's like, and I think that's because you've got coaches then who maybe haven't fully played the game and are too young without life experiences. Like Dean Morris talks about. That's where I was fortunate. Is that
30-year-old?
Whereas like I knew, and like I said, this is my third full season as a manager, but I've been coaching for 15 years. Like in the background, so like management's different, but the coaching side of it I've been doing, so I've had that time on the grass or whatever you call it. So that's where I see it's like we can set up. That's why there's so many like mid block, but the hardest thing to coach is the attacking phase and the creative things, and they're the things that unless you understand and you're like, what about standing there to receive it rather than being there? And I fail to see how. And there is exceptions. There's probably 23-year-old, 24-year-olds go out, and there is, of course, you always get exceptions to rules in whatever you do. But I just think there's that lack of game, and like it's great now 20. But maybe me viewing it wrong. But I look back at 24, and I think I would be miles off an A licensed coach at 24.
Well, I remember. I can't think how old I would have been, but so I was Lamwern, so I would have been about 5-6 years into senior management. And I remember doing a session one night and saying to Don Dwyer, no, I don't want you there, I want you there. And he just asked me why. Yeah. Like, one being an arsehole, he was genuinely asked so he could understand what I wanted. And I was just like, I don't actually know why. Yeah. And then I had to give the thought about it. And of course, that's what I've been kind of used to, that's what I've been shown and everything else. And then, but that's the problem, is that I could get to that logical explanation in my brain and go, that's why I want it there, not there, because this is the reason. But I could only do that from having done it. Do you know? And I can just think of lots of examples. And do you know what? I genuinely, we're going to go in on referees again, but I think that's a problem as well. They're the ones I always worry about when they're 19, 20, 21 Welsh League referees. I'm thinking, well, it's not possible that you've played then. Well, if you're at that level, at that age, it's not possible that you've played. So there's things you're not going to understand now out there. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I don't mean you've played high level. Yeah. You don't need that. Of course you don't. But, it's the silly things like when the ball goes across a penalty box and the ball gets cleared up there. Everyone in the ground knows you've got to watch there. Yeah. Not that ball. It's that one. And it's the ones that have never played that go like that with the ball. Yeah. Bang, there's the tackle. And it's silly little things like that. And I think coaching can be very similar. Yeah, 100%. And like I said, I'd be fortunate that I was coaching in the academy, so working with great, but like learning your trade right. alongside of it, and things like that. But no, you have to be mindful of. Look, we'd all love to play, but you've got to have the players, and I think people take for granted, like Man City, Edison, the amount of times he just goes long from a goal kick. But like, I do get where you're saying it's suicidal when you watch a League Two. And it looks dreadful, and some of the things you're thinking, how's he done that? Why has he done that? Like it's suicide. But we do it on the Twitter account. You'll have seen sometimes when there's one of those goals that gets conceded and it just looks awful, and we'll retweet it and go, make it stop. I could tweet that 15 times.
But then on
the
flip side of it, so I coach it in two different ways. So I coach the first team, and it's like out here, it's about winning and winning at all costs. I coach my academy team with the under-12s, whereas radical, you've got to play. So you've got to play through the keeper, you've got to play. Because my thought with them, I want them to be technically as good as they can be. Sure. Not to be the best under-12s team,
if you
for a career in football.
Team, Gano,
so I will.
So when they're 13s, 14s, 15s, 16s youth, when does that change? Because if you're developing 18-year-olds that are like that, and they then come and sign for someone like you at a club where every point is precious, they ain't making it, are they?
My thought process, where it will change, is this year. In terms of now we've gone to competitive football. So I've had these boys from under 6s generally, and I forced them to play a technical way because they can adapt then to playing long ball. What they can't do is if the Swans say I want to take him on trial, you can't do it because you haven't worked on anything. So I remember like different philosophy. We went on FAW course, the FA course, because when you coach them in the Swans, you're under the FA umbrella.
Okay.
Liverpool didn't introduce passing till under 12s. So their philosophy from mini football to 12s was you had to dominate the ball. So what they're saying is that you couldn't teach a kid to dribble at 12, but you can teach a kid to pass at 12. So what you either learn to dribble a ball at a young age or you can't introduce. Whereas once you get to 12 and you can master the ball, a coach can tell you how to pass the ball. That's the easy side. So they would do all ball mastery. Same QPR was the same. So you went to play QPR 4v4. Pass the ball, so we'd have two players. The boy would have to try and take you on. If we tackled him and scored, their coach was like, get back on the ball, do it again. And if he beat you once, he'd see that more success and they scored 5. And the logic of that is, you're not keeping score. So it's that's going to challenge a boy more than, you might win the game, but you might have had 4 touches. So like with our younger ones, it's like getting them used to both sides of the body, because I think then it's giving them their best chance of being a footballer when they get older, and it becomes competition. You might sign for a team and they go, right, we're just going to play it long, and they know they've got the technical base to do that. But then if they had to go the other way, they can handle the ball. Whereas I see so many horror stories in grassroots where I've been around it, where teams will just care about winning, like at 10s, and they're like, that boy's touched the ball 3 times. Yes, they've won 1-0, but then the team who's lost 1-0, that boy's touched the ball 40 times. They've done everything but score. So I guarantee if you played that fixture 10 times, the team that just lost will probably win 8. So they're going to be the better team. But it's like short, and that's what I find sometimes is younger ages, it's about short-term vision of, I want to be the best under 10s team, I want to be the best under 11. I'm like, you've got a career in football. So build for a career in football. It's like mini football. It's like when kids are put in positions and you're like, how do you know he's going to be in that position when he go full
older,
pitch? And then that player's played 6 years of football.
Number of times, right, listening to pro football podcasts where you hear, like, Jamie Carragher, I was a striker. And so many of them say I was a striker as a kid, and they've become world-class centre-backs, right-backs, holding midfielders, whatever. Lots of them, because they were good players.
Jermaine Defoe.
They could score lots, so they were up front.
Jermaine Defoe talks about Harry Redknapp playing him as a centre-half, so he could learn what centre-halves position himself, so he'd understand the striker. If I went to someone in the academy and said, his boy's a striker, and I said, I'm going to play in defence, his old man be kicking off, saying, no, my boy's a striker. But it's like, you've got to look at the bigger picture. But So
the final Twitter question, it's dark now, is Ian Parfitt. He said, double or quits, and you'll know what that means.
Yes, I bet him. I thought he was going to mention the thing against Ammanford. Double or quits, definitely.
Well, come on, you got to tell us.
He just he bet me with Pontawe the U went down that Ammanford would finish above Pontawe, but they took the main striker, and they did. And obviously, I don't see him to pay up. And then this year, I betted him that Lido will finish above Ammanford.
Oh, okay.
So that's the double or quits.
So it's double or quits. How much though?
Oh, only 20 quid. It's 20 quid, but we're not allowed to bet, are we? So I don't know. I might have a 3-game ban now.
I don't think that counts as betting. It's not Ian Parfit's pocket. It's not hockey, is it?
So no, but yeah.
Listen, guys, it's been a pleasure talking to you, mate, before and during recording, and thanks for sticking with us through a little technical problem there, but really appreciate your time, mate, and best of luck for the Lido, and for all those out there, you now know what Trust the Process was all about. It was just a myth. And we'll be obviously...
People with sour grapes, that's what it is. But no, keep up the good work, boys.
Do you know one thing, last thing I got to say, before, as we close, but it is that Mr. Stanton claimed that, he's in the top 3 most hated and you're in the top 3 most hated.
He put me in that.
It's amazing, actually, how many people that, since you've been getting a bit of stick, and obviously you've talked about tonight with us, it's amazing how many friends you've got in the game for someone who's hated. Yeah,
but like I said, mate, it's the hatred comes from those parody accounts that want to see you fail, and when, like I said, when I was shortlisted manager of the season, I didn't see them tweeting then. It's like, you go down, so they're straight on it. So it's no one from sourcing.
Bollocks to him.
But
top man.
No, keep up the good work, guys.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy listening.
Thank you.